Hi everyone, Dave here from Charest Studios, and today I'm going to be making my version of white kimchi, and it is a fermented Napa cabbage concoction that I make that we love, and we usually use it on sandwiches and stuff, or just as a side dish. It's a very healthy, probiotic rich food that we enjoy, and today I'm going to make it. So if you guys want to see how I make my version of this white kimchi, stick around and we'll get right into it. Okay guys, so here we go. I'm going to make this kimchi. It's like a white kimchi, or my version of a white kimchi. And what I have here is 2 carrots, 1 Napa cabbage, 3 of my Thai dragon hot peppers, and 5 cloves of garlic. Now you can use any kind of cabbage you want. You could use Savoy cabbage, you could use a regular cabbage, you can minus the carrots, you could minus the garlic, you could add the garlic, and you could minus the hot peppers. As long as you have some kind of cabbage and salt, that's basically what you need to ferment this. But this is how I like it. You know, we like it with the carrots and with a lot of garlic, 5 cloves, and 3 of these Thai dragon peppers, sometimes a little more. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cut up my cabbage, throw it all in this big bowl, and then I'm going to rinse it 2 or 3 times. Like, just cover it with water, slosh it around, and rinse it off. And so basically I just cut it in slices. Now my dogs, they love vegetables, so they're hanging around the table in what I call the drop zone, in case anything falls down there. You can cut your cabbage up any way you like. I wash my carrots, but I'm not going to peel them. So I don't mind that core part, you know, that little core in there. You can cut that out if you don't like it. You know, just cut it out like that. But really I don't mind it. Everything becomes more soft when you ferment it. So I'll throw it out that little piece, but yeah, I'll leave it in there. So I'll throw all that in there. I like some big pieces in there like that. So I have a a half-gallon jar prepared for this, just clean half-gallon jar that we'll pack all this into. And I'm excited today because I get to try out the new Easy Weight pickle weight, which I'll put a affiliate link to below. I really love this already because I have pickle weights, which I was perfectly happy with, but I noticed that sometimes I'd have trouble picking them up because the little knob was set in a little, it was in date, there was like a trowel around it and it was inside there, and it would be hard for me to pick it up. So I like that this one, it has the knob on top to grab, much easier to grab. Like I said, nothing wrong with the other ones. They worked perfectly well, but sometimes I would be trying to pick up the glass weight and it was difficult. And what I'll be using too is I'll show you the mason jar top that I'll be using, because it's a vented top that allows the gases of your ferment to come out, but air not to get in, and that's great for fermentation. So with the glass weights and the vented lid, we really don't have to worry about anything as far as burping the jars or anything. We can just leave this to ferment on the counter and not worry about anything. So guys, I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to show you this part, but I'm just going to fill it up with water and slosh it around and rinse it off. Probably 2 times, 2-3 times. I think 2 times is sufficient. And then come back and we'll put the rest of these ingredients in, and we'll put the salt in, and then we'll pack our jar and get it set to ferment. Okay guys, so I've rinsed this off really well, and now I'm going to grate in my carrots. And I use the the large grate side for this, and I'll use the small grate side for, I grate my garlic when I put it in. You could chop your garlic too, that's fine. I just like to grate it small because it kind of gets it all through here. The only thing that really matters on this is getting the right amount of salt, and I just kind of, I do it by eye now. And I think it's going to be about 1.5 tablespoons or so, but you know, I'll do it. I'll put it in a spoon before I throw it in there, just so I can give you guys a better idea. Because normally I would just, you know, kind of just shake it out and into here until I think it's the right amount. If you have too much salt, you'll really slow down the fermentation, and if you don't have enough salt, I don't think bad bacteria can grow as long as you're still under the brine, but you know, it does help prevent bad bacteria from growing to have the salt in there. So, you know, you could also make a brine and pour it over this, and you could look up, there's many different brine recipes online, but basically it's just, you just make the salt water and pour it over. I don't like to do that because your vegetables are gonna, when you salt them, they're gonna pull out their own juices, and it's I like it better to just use the juice that's in there. By 24 hours, the juices from the cabbage and the carrots and everything will submerge your vegetables under the water. When I first pack them in the jar, the water is not going to be up. You know, the juices aren't going to be up over the veggies. So you got to make sure by the second day that the juices are up over the veggies, because otherwise bad bacteria can grow where there's airspace and things aren't submerged. So you want to make sure you keep things submerged under the brine, you know, after the first 24 hours. So now I'll do my little hot peppers. I'm going to go grab my scissors because I cut those. So I'm just going to cut these. So I got some lighting here, but I might have been creating a shadow. So I'm going to cut those up. Just cut them up, cut them up, cut them up. Nice and fine. I'm sipping on dandelion tea while I make this. It's roasted dandelion root tea. I love it. And I buy it unroasted, and then I roast it. I toast it in the pan, and then I store it in a jar. And it tastes a lot like coffee. You could definitely use it as a coffee substitute. And they say it's good for your liver, and yeah, good for your liver, and it's a healthy beverage. I have picked my own dandelion roots and dried them, but mostly I buy it. Be careful, guys, if you use really hot peppers. You know, don't touch your nose, your eyes, or any sensitive areas, or anything really. Wash your hands after cutting those up before touching yourself anywhere. And now I'm going to do the garlic. I'm going to move this over a little bit so I can clean these up. So I've had this this Napa cabbage. They last a long time in the fridge, but you really should try to make it right after you buy it fresh, because I let mine sit around too long before I made it. And, you know, it was in the fridge for a week or so. But you know, it's perfectly fine because cabbages do stay well. But it's, you know, I try to do it where I plan that when I'm going to make it, I'll get this stuff right before then. But it's okay if, you know, it's a little older than I wanted. It's still going to be a delicious kimchi. We've missed this because I haven't made it in a while, and we finished the last of it some weeks ago. I have to get into a more regular schedule of fermenting stuff because we really love it, and I feel like it is beneficial to your immune system. A lot of studies say that a lot of our immune system comes in our guts, in our intestines, and that our friendly bacteria are very important for helping that. Not medical advice, just something I read, something I've heard. And we've been very lucky, very healthy, so I don't know if it has anything to do with the kimchi or not, but it's a delicious side dish anyway. Okay, so I'm going to now I'm going to use the fine grate on this side for this. And then we'll mix everything up. Well, we'll put our salt, we'll put some salt on, then we'll mix, and then we'll put some more salt on, and then we'll mix, and then we'll pack. When you pack your jar, one thing I don't have that I do want, that I'm going to put on my wish list, is a kraut packer. They have wooden ones and they have plastic ones that just help you pack your stuff into the jar, kimchi or sauerkraut, whatever you're doing. But I get by just packing it in there with my hand and a wooden spoon or something. But the kraut packers are nice because they have a nice wide flat end that fits just right inside the jar and just allows you to pack that all in. So I'm trying to move around with this garlic because I got a big clump of it there. You know, you could do ginger in here too. Ginger would be nice. I typically don't use it in here, but it would be good. Okay, so what I have here is just kosher salt, and I like to keep it in a jar to try to keep it from clumping up. But it did clump up a little, but that's okay. Yeah, and this is kosher salt. Now I've noticed that my wife bought kosher salt and it had something in it, like a flow agent or something. Now you don't want that, so we can't use that for pickling. You want just pure salt is all it should say on the box, is just salt. So I'm going to start out with this rounded teaspoon here. And I'm going to mix that up with one hand, so I can keep one hand for doing the salt. Yeah, don't be afraid to get your clean hands in there and move stuff around a little bit. And now I'm going to do at least one more teaspoon of salt. I think about three teaspoons to a tablespoon, I believe. But these are rounded teaspoons. So I'll do 2, and then this one I'll do just flat. So 2 and a flat teaspoon. And that's, like I say, just a guesstimate, you know. I don't think you go too far wrong with that amount. Too much salt will slow down the fermentation. And but you want to have enough not only for the fermentation but also for the flavor. Okay, guys, that looks nice. That's well mixed. And so you'd be surprised how much this compresses down. We could probably go in a quart jar and keep smashing it down, but I'm going to do it in the half gallon because I want to make sure I have enough room. I don't want to and you need good amount of head space. You want to leave about 2 inches of head space, you know, between the top of your ferment and the top of the jar, for the gases to have room there. So there's my jar. So I'm going to just make sure I've mixed it really good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just start putting it in there by hand. And we'll rinse this jar off and everything afterwards, once we get it all sealed. And I usually like this, you know, around the 10-day mark or so, but a little 10 days to 14 days, depends on the temperature in your house and stuff. You know, if it's cool, it's going to probably ferment slower. You know, if you keep it warm, we keep it pretty warm, and a lot of times I have the wood fire going, so we're up in the 70s here in the house. But if you keep it cooler, it's going to be slower. So if you keep your house cooler, you might want to put this like on top of your fridge or somewhere where it's a little bit warmer up there. This is going to be just right, guys. By the time we get this packed down, I'm glad I decided to use this jar. And now don't forget to pour all that liquid in here too that you might have in the bowl. So I'm going to pour that liquid in. Now hopefully we can pack that down enough so we have, you know, a couple inches of headspace, because you really need that. Otherwise, what will happen is, even with these special fermenting lids, is the liquid will come out the top. So there's going to be a lot of liquid coming out of those vegetables and filling up the jar. So I'm going to go rinse my hands again, and then we'll try to pack this down and see if we can get it so we have enough headspace. Okay guys, so I'm going to try to see if I can pack this down really good. Now you can see why you want a flat-ended thing to pack this down, because it's hard with a spoon. And yeah, it's probably just going to be just enough headspace. You know, you might want, probably ideally you'd want a little bit more headspace than I'm going to have here. I'm going to try to do some by hand because, yeah, there we go. That seems to work better. And make sure you push everything that's stuck to the sides of the jar down into the brine, or what will be brine. Now that looks good, guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our weight in there. Let me show you guys too what it looks like on the side. So you can see the liquid starting to come, you know, and it will increase. By tomorrow it should be covering all this food with the liquid brine. So now, guys, my weight's nice and clean. I washed it beforehand. And that's just going to sit down in there and keep that stuff under the brine. And you could use 2 weights if you wanted to. You know, if you wanted more weight, I think the 1 weight is going to be okay. Some little pieces might float up, and that should be fine as long as you know, there's not a lot of food above the brine. Now this is a mason lock lid from Farmhouse Essentials. And I love these lids, and I love these glass weights, these new glass weights that I got, the Easy Weight. I'll put links to both of these products down in the description. So you can set your day and date that you made your ferment, should you want to. So let me go ahead and clean this jar off. I just want to spray it off with my sink sprayer, make sure there's nothing on the outside, and then we'll come and take a look at how it looks. So I wanted to give a little update on this now that it's been in the jar for about, I think about 12 days. Unfortunately, I didn't set the lid. The lid has a date mark on it, but I didn't set that. So, but it's nice and soft and tangy, spicy, garlicky. So that's what it looks like now. We're going to go ahead and enjoy this on some vegan sausages. But you can use it any way you would kimchi or sauerkraut. And I'm going to leave it in the jar on the counter. I don't really refrigerate it because we'll finish it before it's gone too long. So thanks guys very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Like I said, I will have affiliate links to this awesome lid here and the glass weight that I use inside. Keep everything down. Another thing I want to tell you guys before I leave is, you know, usually the brine will be up covering this level by 24 hours. It's already about here now, right? But if it isn't, you can mix up a little brine and put it on top. Rarely will you ever need to do that unless you're using something that has very little moisture. But this Napa cabbage should put out enough moisture to be under the brine by tomorrow. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to let you know, if it doesn't cover, you could always make some brine. I think it's 1 tablespoon per quart of water, but don't quote me on that. I have to look that up again because I just do stuff by eye. But anyway, and I don't usually use the brine. I do this method. But anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.